I'm Sapphire Speaks, and this is your Oracle read of today. And honestly, I don't know if it's an Oracle read or more of a message that kind of stuck with me. I kind of wrestle with all through the night, and it's from the read that I did yesterday, and it was releasing allegiances. And that card kind of stuck with me this morning, like late last night to early this morning. And it was, what are we aligned to? What have we signed our allegiance to? And we don't realize that there's this programming that has been going on in the back of our mind, playing these scenarios and these situations out for so long. And what I mean by that is that um, a lot of us were born into families that did not have. A lot of us were born into situations and where we went without. So that lack mindset, that poverty mindset, that impoverished, that you can't have what it is that you want, that you know those type of things, and we have carried those into adulthood as children when we've watched our parents go without, our parents not eat, our parents be without. We've watched, we have asked for things and have been told there's no money, and we have taken that, and it's been playing in the back of our minds, those mental and verbal contracts that we have gotten ourselves into. We have watched broken relationships play out. We have watched torment play out. We have watched a lot of us, a lot of the things that have been very, those wounds that have been created were created in our homes. And so, as we are in this place of where we're stationed in our home, a lot of those things have resurfaced. And so we've had to take a look at them. A lot of us have stepped out of the cycle of all of that. We have been taking steps towards what it is that we want to do, but because that old narration is playing out in the back of our head, we have mentally and verbally aligned ourselves with some things that no longer suits us. Like when I tell you this morning, I woke up kind of fired up, kind of angry, kind of upset, kind of no, this shit stops here. Because if anybody who knows my past knows, from the videos that I've put out, knows the things that I have been through and went through in my life. If anybody who is close to me or a friend to me knows the some of the things that I have encountered, it's a no, this stops here. The allegiance to this cycle, the allegiance to the poverty mindset, the allegiance to the bullshit, the allegiance to people, places, and things and situations that no longer serve us. We have to be so very fucking adamant about what it is that we want that it stops here. That allegiance to that shit stops here. And again, there are these mental and verbal contracts that we make all the time. That's why it's so important for you to watch what it is that you say. I hope I don't say those things because for me, that leaves room for doubt. And a lot of us are way more powerful than we know. And a lot of us, we are sitting in our timing. So the words that you are saying, God, the universe, whatever it is that you believe in, is trying to manifest this thing for your happiness. And manifesting, you are manifesting the thing it is that you're saying. So you have to be careful about watching what you're saying. You have to be very clear. I desire clarity. I see my next steps clearly. I am guided. I am protected. Everything that no longer serves me leaves my life instantly and effortlessly. We have to be so very clear about what the fuck we say. And if you see me looking down, it's because, of course, like I stated, this thing hit me hard and I was writing it down as fast as I can. So when I'm looking down, I'm looking at the notes that I've written. And it just, like I said, there are cycles of pain, cycles of hurt, cycle of abuse that are playing in the background of our mind. And so as we get into this situation, as we are in our place of, I don't even want to call it confinement, because your home is where your heart is. That's where you rewrite your narrative. That's where you recreate your story. That's where you reclaim your power. That's where you receive your rest. That's where you receive your reassurance. But we are made to face these situations. We are made to look at these situations. We are made to heal these situations. We are made to look at what we have made allegiances with and now make a different decision. I'm no longer aligning with the bullshit. I'm no longer aligning with the bullshit. I'm no longer aligning with not seeing situations clearly. I'm no longer aligning with broken marriages. I'm no longer aligning with unhappy households. I'm no longer aligning with abuse, rape, confusion. I'm no longer aligning with that shit. And you have to be so very clear about it. Because a lot of us, if we take a look back just to see where we have come from, we have made steps to break this cycle, to get out of the cycle. But it's as you get in that place where that cycle began, as you get in that place where the hurt began, as you get in that place where the abuse began, it's very easy to allow that to come back in and to start to manifest the thing it is that you have stepped out of. So it's very important for you to be very serious about your boundaries. It's very important for you to ensure that you're protected. It's very important for you to speak protection over your life. It's very important for you to say what it is that you want and mean what it is that you say, and don't take no shit for it. Like the abuse, these cycles of abuse for some of us are so deep that when we get into happy situations or whatever, we see ourselves as someone else, or we see ourselves playing out this role as other people, or we become the abuser. We we create situations to and abuse ourselves. We create the chaos, we create the pain, we recreate this lineage, this cycle of destruction, just so the situation that we're in can fit the narrative that we already know. This is where therapy comes into play. This is where help comes into play. This is where us constantly working on our minds and on ourselves comes into play. This is where us speaking life into ourselves and speaking healing into our situation, us constantly being on our shit, us constantly putting in those steps to ensure that we are creating the life it is that we desire, not the narrative that we have already lived through. Your kids should not have to live through your bullshit. Your kids should not have to live through poverty. Your kids should not have to live through the hurt and the pain. So it's important for you to not only take those lessons in, but to teach that shit to your kids. What are we what are what are our allegiances? What allegiances do we need to release? Because we as a people are hearing this shit on the radio stations. We as a people are watching this shit play out on TV. We know that a lot of us don't need to be watching the news. A lot of us don't need to be watching some of these channels that show nothing but abuse, because all it does is reaffirm this bullshit. What do you need to release your allegiance to? I needed to release my allegiance to trauma. I needed to release my allegiance to pain. I needed to release my allegiance to broken marriages. I needed to release my allegiance to unhappy households. I needed to release my allegiance to depression. I needed to release my allegiance to all of these other things that had been cycled down into my family, into my bloodline. It's time for you to release your allegiance, because what it is that you want wants you. And as soon as you get clear about it, as soon as you define it, as soon as you know what it is. And it's crazy. I said this was an oracle read, and of course I pulled cards. Release the dark wound. Let love live. Conscious connections. That's your therapist. Shock of the new. That's that new life coming in. Transmutation. That's the healing. Listening for truth. Come on now. Sacred unions. We're calling in those with ourselves, with our creators, with our God. Happy, because you have every opportunity to be happy. A change in the wind. That's you turning this, that's you and your creator turning this situation around. All that glitters on the top of the deck. See the true you. Fear. To the sea. Again, this fear is the thing that is playing in the background of your mind, because every time it is that you step out to do something new, it feels it you of course you're going to be afraid. You don't have to let it conquer you. You don't have to let it take over your life. You don't have to let it take a hold of you. You don't have to run your life by that narrative anymore. You can call in protection. You can call in your creator. You can call in awareness. You can call on your God. You can call in hope. You can call not hope. Call in definite things, faith, love. Call in so much joy. Call in happiness. Call it in. And release your allegiance to everything that is not that. Fuck the bullshit. It is time. There are some of us who have been sitting on our gifts, and we have been trying to figure out, okay, should I do this? Should I not do this? Should I do this? Should I not do this? It is time to do what it is that you want to do, to be so adamant about it, to call on your help, your creator, because there are people who need what it is that you have. Listening for the truth. Come on, am I lying? Am I lying? Conscious connections. Those are people who are pouring into you. Those are your therapists, because a lot of us need a need to get this narrative out of our mind. Those are us listening to these gurus, these billionaires who have taken the same steps that you have taken and are doing the same things that you are doing, but you need to elevate your mind and pour so fully into your cup and into your spirit that you actually allow yourself to be successful, because in the back of a lot of our minds that I can't, I never have, I shouldn't, I don't know what to do, and you're already fucking doing it. Allow yourself to be amazed by what comes in. Allow yourself to be amazed by the new you. Allow yourself to be shocked. Allow yourself to be so filled with love. Allow that passion that you want in your relationship, in your home, in your jobs, in what it is that you are creating to fill your cup up so completely. Allow it to come in. Speak life into yourself every moment, every chance that you get. Release the dark womb, this healing, this narrative that you keep telling yourself. I can't. I won't. I don't. Ain't nobody ever. Well, they just trying to keep us down. Come on now. We've been hearing that for a long time. And that is another cycle that has been going through the bloodline for so long. Like, we are so far advanced. We don't see that we have so much, like, there is so many opportunities standing in front of us, so many opportunities for us to be great, so many opportunities for us to be billionaires and millionaires, so many opportunities for us to claim, but we keep telling ourselves, well, they don't want us to have it, and so da 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 da. Come on now. Give yourself, give your children a fighting fucking chance. There are some cycles that we are outside of, but we won't allow ourselves to be outside of them. Truth be told, allow the truth to come in and to set you free. Allow yourself to be set free. Tell the truth to yourself. Tell the truth about where you are. Tell the truth about what you've been through. Tell the truth about what you want. Be honest with yourself about who the fuck you are and what it is that you want, and allow that to set you free. Allow that to open the doors. Allow that to pave the ways. Allow that to break cycles and generational curses. Allow the truth to set you free. These sacred unions, these are friends. These are people in your lives that you are calling in. This is help. This is the union between you and your creator. This is the union between you and your God. This is the union between you and your universe, because there is a pact there. There is a verbal and an unverbal pact that whatever it is that you want in this life and from this life, you can absolutely have. A lot of us have manifested some amazing things, and we can't even see it because we have this narrative running around in our background, in the background of our mind of, well, it ain't this, and it could be this, and it should be this, and we won't even allow ourselves to be happy. That's not the same as some shit coming into our lives and fucking our lives up, or we allowing it to fuck up our lives. That's not the all that glitters isn't gold. That's not that. That's the We can have some amazing things in our lives, some amazing people, some amazing friendships, an amazing job, that we won't allow it to be what it is because we are so used to this narrative going on in our mind. Set yourself free. To the sea, it reminds me of a baptism, purification, restoration, healing, restoring our mind, restoring, taking back what is ours, mentally, physically, spiritually. Like there is something new. There is something new that is trying to be birthed. And I always say that the outside world reflects our inner world. This thing that it is that's going on the outside is this old way of being that is dying off. And it's fucking time. It's time. Again, none of that should deter you from absolutely anything. It's time for us to be so fucking adamant about what it is that we want in our lives and to say no to everything that is not it. It is time for us to open our mouths and be unapologetic about what we want, what we are creating, and to release allegiance with anybody else who comes to destroy our mental, our physical, or any of that. Fuck that. Everything that has happened that we have seen or whatever started as a thought in somebody's mind. I don't care if it's a duplication of somebody's business. Who fucking cares? It still started off as a thought. And there's no way we can say, well, they have this, I shouldn't create the same thing. Why the fuck not? We started off with one loaf of bread, and now there are 50 million types of bread. There's a whole fucking bread aisle with all of these breads. Why the fuck not? What you have to offer and what somebody else have to offer are two totally different things. It is time to stop aligning with the bullshit. It is time to stop sitting on our gifts. It is time for us to stop playing with what it is that we want. It's time for us to start speaking truth and hope and faith into what it is that we are creating. It is time for us to get serious. There's something new that's coming in, that's being birthed through you. I think the new you is going to shock you. And it should. If your dreams do not scare you, then they're not big enough. If releasing this old shit does not scare you, then you know what? And I'm ready. Like, I'm ready. I speak readiness all up and through my life. I speak non-tolerance of the bullshit all up and through my life. I speak protection all up and through my life and up and through yours. It is time for us to be happy, to not just look and appear to be happy, to not just look at other lives and wish and want for what it is that they have, but to have our own definition of happiness and love and truth and joy, and to be unapologetic about it. Because haven't you gone through enough? So, again, this message, like I say always, that the messages are for me. But if there's something that you can take out of this, if there's something that you resonated with, I would love to hear it. I won't make this any longer, of course. I'm Sapphire of Sapphire Speaks, and thank you so much for listening.